And you're going to see her here in just a little bit, and she's going to come up, and not yet, but in just a minute. They goof around together like you wouldn't believe. It's just fun to be around them. She comes to the Bible studies on Thursday nights, and she tells jokes to everyone. Bible jokes. So maybe she'll tell one for us. Anyway, you were going to share. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. What a blessing it is. First, like Antonio said, I just want to give thanks to the Lord Jesus Christ before I do anything, say anything, because I came up here tonight not really knowing what I was going to say. It's been going over my head all day long. I'm like, what am I going to say? And I have notes and Bible verses and all this stuff, but I'm just going to let the Spirit speak. And I want to thank my brother David back there, because David Fulani, he watched me grow in prison the last year I was in, and I talked a lot about being reunited with my family, and he was my strength in there and told me just stay focused on God and it'll happen. If it's meant to be, it's God's will. And clearly his words were true, and it is God's will that my family is back in my life. I left my daughter when she was 3 years old for drugs and alcohol, and my wife. Drugs and alcohol had a grip on me that I couldn't get away from. I just totally could not get away from it. I wasn't about to get away from it. Well, during that time of separation, divorce was taking place, and after it had taken place, I started to go see my daughter in Flagstaff, and she was just a little baby. And I remember one time I went to see her in March of 2007 on her birthday, and on the way home, my heart was ripped out of my chest, and I immediately sobered up, and I knew that what I was leaving behind was not what I wanted to do, nor did I think that was the plan that God had for my life. And I screamed out. I pulled over on the side of the road, and I screamed at God, and I was like, God, why is this happening? If you're real, you need to do something about this, because I'm not going to do anything about it. I don't know how. I can't. And this is not right. What I'm going through right now, this is not what is meant for my life. This is not what I want. That was on March 4th of 2007. On March 26th, my house was being raided, and I ended up getting 7 years in prison, thank God, because he heard my cry.
Amen.
So that day forward, I chose to follow the Lord. And day in, day out, morning, noon, night, I would seek Jesus. And he was my new companion, my new friend, my new rock, my new salvation, everything. And so becoming engrossed in the Bible, I started seeing these promises. And I just stood on their promises. Lord, if your word is true, then this is what I'm praying for. I'm going to ask for it. I'm going to believe it's going to come to pass. And when it's time and it's your will and it's due in my life, then I'll receive that. And something I prayed for the entire time I was locked up was that my daughter would somehow, some way be back in my life. The whole 7 years I was in, they lived in Flagstaff. There was 2 parole plans. I was planning on going out of state, and I was planning on, after that got shut down, I was planning on going to Tucson, not knowing where to go, not knowing where my family stood in my life. Like I said, we didn't communicate much through mail. Their decision was that I was the one that messed up, so that's where I'd stay and I'd have to deal with it. So shortly after, I want to read something. Okay, go ahead. Documented this prayer in my Bible.